This is Akashvani. In the program Spotlight, now we bring you a discussion on Prime Minister's Mann Ki Baat and inauguration of new Parliament building. The participants are Shekhar Iyer, political analyst, and Ishan Mittal, Akashvani correspondent.
Today is a momentous day when India witnessed the inauguration of its new parliament in the 75th year of its independence. Prime Minister Narendra Modi dedicated the Parliament of India and invoked the spirit of Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat while addressing the nation during the inauguration. PM Modi also addressed his 101st episode of Mann Ki Baat. To discuss these developments, today we have with us Mr. Shekhar Iyer, political analyst. Shekharji, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Ishan. Thank you very much.
Sir, firstly, we wanted to discuss about the parliament that was inaugurated today. And the most important thing which caught everyone's imagination was the symbol that was installed. It had a lot of discussion happening before the installation. So if you could shed light on that development.
Indeed, it was a very, very momentous day. And you mentioned about Sengol being installed. Rather reinstalled, I would say, because this was the same Sengol that was handed over to Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru in the evening of August 1947. And it was handed over by religious leaders who are worshippers of Lord Shiva, or they are Shaivite mutts or Adinams from Tamil Nadu, who had brought this specially, Sengol, with the belief that the new people who are taking charge from the British, rather the new rulers, not that they are kings, because we did not opt for a monarchy. So those who are taking charge, they will be blessed, they will be able to discharge their duty in the name of justice, the name of fair play, in the name of people's welfare. So that is a symbolism of Sengol, because in the olden times, not just in Tamil Nadu or not just part of Chola dynasty, but also in other kingdoms we have seen in the south, even in other parts of the world. We just witnessed the coronation of King Charles III. There also you would have seen, he was presented not just with the crown, he was also given things which symbolize a kind of taking charge. So similarly, Sengol was meant to be like that. But unfortunately, Sengol, somehow people who received it or subsequently who were people who were supposed to look after it did not realize the symbolism with which it was given to Pandit Nehru. So constantly it ended up as a walking stick of Pandit Nehru in Anand Bhavan, later in a museum in Allahabad, which somehow people, it was recalled by particularly the Adinams of Tamil Nadu. They mentioned it because the senior pontiff who had given it, he had recorded it. In fact, various Adinams had recorded this, and subsequently it came to light. And finally, it was left to a classical dancer by the name of Dr. Padma Subramaniam. She's a very famous dancer. She sent a Tamil magazine article to the Prime Minister. And after that, the Prime Minister got his research team to look into it to find out where is this Sengol, which is very significant because it was given with lot of sentiment. It had a sentimental value because this was brought specially from Tamil Nadu. It was flown on that evening and brought, and it was first shown to Lord Mountbatten. In fact, the idea was discussed between Nehruji and Rajaji, and finally they contacted and this was done. So today, the restoration of that and it getting a place in the new Lok Sabha, I think is a message which the Prime Minister wishes to convey, that Sengol is about good governance. Sengol is about doing justice to people. Sengol is about totally to be committed to people's welfare. That is a big message that is coming from installation of Sengol in the new Sansad Bhavan.
From this, I would like to take forward to the significance of the event where our Prime Minister, who is from Gujarat, inaugurated the Sansad Bhavan, which is in Delhi, with the blessings of Tamil Adinam. So if you could just capture that image for us, for our audience.
If you recall, in 2020, when the foundation stone was laid, it was laid with, lot of Havan and Puja and all that. Because we always invoke the blessings of the God for any occasion, whether from marriage to Grah Pravesh. Even if you are buying a flat, you want to do some little puja. So that is why understanding the faith of millions of people in invoking the divine powers for a greater beginning, for a new beginning. Similarly, today Sansad Bhavan had some kind of a religious, I would say, a drill, in the sense that first you had a Havan, which probably started much earlier than 6:30 or 7. And by the time it concluded, Prime Minister himself joined in doing Purnahuti. That was Ganapati home. That was to invoke the power of Lord Ganapati. So similarly, that was done, followed by Sengol. Puja was also done to Sengol and handed over to the Prime Minister, who carried it inside and installed it. The idea was that we believe in the strength that comes from the divine to us. And that is the message of today's prayers, today's pujas, and then the Sarva Dharma. Pratana is basically religious heads from various faiths they too came and prayed. From Buddhist prayers were invoked, you saw prayers of Islam, the prayers of Christianity, Judaism, and even Zoroastrianism. All prayers were said, and all these prayers might have been said in different languages. But the essence of the prayer is, may this country be blessed. May the work in this new building be for the welfare of the country. May good things happen to us. May we be able to defeat all the negative energies that surround us and sometimes pull us down. May we be filled with positive energy. May we be filled with lot of hope, optimism and energy to do what needs to be done to make this country great.
Could you talk about the new parliament, what it signifies for us, and what is the utility of it for us going forward? Because it was a momentous occasion and the inauguration has been a special event. So if you could shed some light on that.
New modern parliament building has always been felt for almost 2 decades. Past governments had also considered this, but no decisive action was taken. If you remember, even the former Lok Sabha Speaker Veera Kumar had also initiated on this, because the old building, which is today 96 years old, it was opened in 1927 when Lord Irwin was Governor General, and it was in the pre-independence era. Now today, a building that is 96 years old, lot of money is required to keep it for its maintenance. Often it used to leak. I remember for every parliament session, before it starts, the officials used to undertake a major repair work, a major refurbishment and things like that. And 3 years from hence, that is say from 2026, there will be delimitation of Lok Sabha constituencies, but that's a constitutional requirement. For a long time, the number of seats in the parliament has been frozen. There has not been big changes. But the time has come, there will be delimitation. You cannot postpone that exercise forever. So the number of Lok Sabha members, that will go up. When it goes up, you will have to make seating arrangements for all of them. That was not possible in the old Lok Sabha or in the old Rajya Sabha. Therefore, new building was necessary, and Prime Minister, always believes that you anticipate a problem and you prepare for it and keep the solution ready. It should not be an ad hoc approach. He has been against ad hoc approach to many issues. You should anticipate the requirement, whether it is your power requirement, whether it is your infrastructure requirement, or if you are looking at what should be agriculture 10 years hence, you should prepare for that. So similarly, this is a good example where things were taken up 2 years ago, and in a speedy manner, in a time-bound manner, things were executed with Prime Minister personally supervising it. You would have seen he made surprise visits. He spoke to the workers, he spoke to the engineers often to find out how the project is moving, and today the project stands completed. The new Sansad Bhavan is inaugurated, and the next session of Parliament, which is the monsoon session of Parliament, which is due to begin in July, will take place there. And this building is equipped with all modern technology, with all modern facilities. So for the Lok Sabha members, at the press of a button, they can get lot of information. Their debates will get more enriched in major decision making, in major law making exercises, will be much more enriched by the fact that a lot of modern technology is available to them. And all that is required is their commitment and resolve to take up issues through consensus and debate and find a solution.
This construction was completed in a record 2.5 years, and it could not have been possible without the artisans who worked day and night to finish it. And the Prime Minister also felicitated them. So he has done this in the past as well. If you could just talk about these gestures that the Prime Minister makes and how they hold up as an example for the country.
Ishan, the Prime Minister believes in the dignity of labor, and he also realizes the biggest contributions come from people who are actually, who contribute physically. And you would have seen whether it was inauguration of Atalji's tunnel or whether it was Vishwanath corridor in Kashi Vishwanath temple. Prime Minister, any project once it is completed and it is dedicated to nation, Prime Minister makes it a point to talk to the workers, to the laborers who are described as Sharanjeevis, people who actually literally use their blood and sweat. They toil day and night for a completion of the project. It should not be that a project is done, people are forgotten. See, today in real estate boom, where you find beautiful buildings have come up in and around Delhi, in different cities. But do we remember the workers who did it? Do we remember who spent day and night toiling for those buildings? But Prime Minister makes it a point to honor them. He makes it a point to ensure that they are part of the celebration when the project is inaugurated. It's a beautiful gesture, and each of those laborers who, worked hard for the last 2 years or 2.5 years, they would go back with a memory of their contribution, that they have contributed to this building. That is the true Bharatiyata or true Indianness, where you celebrate the spirit of contribution of every individual, no matter how high or low, or no matter, whether they use their brain or brawn. But the fact that they have made a contribution, their dedication and sincerity of purpose, has resulted in completion of a project in time. That needs to be celebrated, and that's what the Prime Minister did today when he honored all those Sharamjeevis.
I also wanted to move on to his Mann Ki Baat. It was a special occasion yet again, his 101st episode, and in it he talked to youngsters who were part of a Yuva Sangam program, an exchange program which is one of its kind. If you could talk about its significance in the national life.
Today, the Mann Ki Baat, which coincided with this inauguration of the new Sansad Bhavan, there also the theme happened to be the Amrit Kal, the next 25 years that India is going to celebrate in its growth. And the same theme was there, Amrit Kal, in Sansad Bhavan also. So Prime Minister, mentioned how after Kashi Tamil Sangamam, then Kashi Telugu Sangamam, then you had Saurashtra Tamil Sangamam. Now there is a new Sangamam, that is the Yuva Sangamam, where youths from different parts of the country are visiting the states they have never visited, are going to those parts of the country they have never gone in life or they never thought of it. And that is in a spirit, which is bringing together youths from different states. Like today he spoke to two youths. One was Vishaka from Sasaram, that is from Bihar, and another was Gayamar, a youth from Arunachal. Now Vishaka went from Bihar to Tamil Nadu, and Gayamar went from Arunachal to Rajasthan. So he spoke to them, wanted to know their experience. What was it like when a young girl from Bihar goes to Tamil Nadu? How does she understand and appreciate the cultural difference? Because normally, sometimes the places you have not visited, you always wonder what will be, how the people are, how would they deal with newcomers, would they understand our language, what about their food habits, will it suit me? These worries keep coming, but once they land there, just as people came from Tamil Nadu to Kashi and could see for themselves how there is a lot of cultural similarities, also cultural variety. Also food habits are different, but each region has a speciality to offer. So these people also realize that, like just as Vishaka was telling the Prime Minister, she found the food that is served in South particularly is very healthy and she liked the variety. She also she made friends with a lot of people. She went to Trichy, then she came to Chennai. For a girl from Sasaram and to come and see a different world where she may not have understood the language being spoken, but she could understand the love and affection. I think this is the Shresth Bharat. See, there are so many states, so many languages are spoken, so many different tribes and communities, but there is a humanness which connects all of us together. That is the Indianness. And the whole idea behind Yuva Sangamam is for us Indians to discover one another, to discover the beautiful land that India is, with its various colors, with its various landscape. That spirit was served today, as Prime Minister put it, India's strength lies in diversity. It's not about tolerance of diversity, it is acceptance and appreciation of diversity. That you have seen, and this particular campaign, Yuva Sangamam has already seen almost 1,200 youth who have toured to more than 22 states. So that's a remarkable achievement. And each one of these 1,200 youth would have their own experience. And when you travel, definitely your vision widens, your understanding widens.
The PM never loses sight of infrastructure even as he talks about culture. So he also talked about water conservation and Amrit Sarovars.
A lot of people have taken up conservation of water bodies in their respective villages or in Gram Panchayat. So several success stories were highlighted by Prime Minister himself in the previous Mann Ki Baat. We saw that being highlighted in the 100th episode, which was broadcast last month. This time, the Prime Minister particularly referred to say how this campaign, which has started, has ensured 50,000 Amrit Sarovars or water bodies being created or renewed or preserved. And he mentioned that already 75 more water bodies are being created in this Amrit Kal period. And he particularly talked about how new startups have come, water management solutions. He mentioned two such startups which are working on providing. Apart from that, he also mentioned how villages are coming up with solutions like in Chhattisgarh, Balod area, similarly in Kunti district, which is in Rajasthan. There also people are coming with new ideas, with new projects. So these are, where people work with local ideas and come up with local solutions to a national problem like water. So this was highlighted by the Prime Minister in today's episode.
Thanks, Mr. Iyer, for this highly informative session.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You were listening to a discussion on Prime Minister's Mann Ki Baat and inauguration of new Parliament building. The participants were Shekhar Iyer, political analyst, and Ishan Mittal, Akashvani correspondent. This program was produced and presented by the News Services Division of Akashvani. You can listen to it on our mobile app, News on AIR. This program is also available on our YouTube channel, News on AIR Official. You may share your feedback about this program through email at airnsttalks@gmail.com or WhatsApp on 92890 94044.